The budget was, first of all, we appreciate that we are in difficult times. I get the impression that the people at the Ministry of Finance are preparing for winter, when we should be preparing for an ice age, in that this environment is going to persist for a while. The Russian government has based their budget on a price of oil $40 for 3 years. We have based our budget on $48 to $50 a barrel. Gas production will rebound next year, but it will not go back to the levels it was, let's say, 6 years ago. So that we are in a new economic environment in Trinidad and Tobago, where we have to learn to live with less, and we have to begin to find new sources, new avenues to earn foreign exchange. And in thinking about what is diversification, I've been hearing that word since I was about 5 years old. In thinking about what is diversification, diversification is earning foreign exchange through non-energy sources. So right now we earn about 80% of our foreign exchange from energy, 20% from non-energy. We have to see a strategy that changes that ratio to 60-40 or 50-50. So we have to find new things or sell stuff to the world that the world needs that we could produce competitively. And there has been some progress, of course, with regard to financial services, manufacturing, and so on. So as far as the other thought I would have, as far as the energy sector is concerned, there is a need for certainty. Businesses don't like uncertainty. Businesses like certainty. Last year, the minister, when he presented his package, had promised a review of the fiscal regime. Now, you probably hear it every single budget. Why is that? A fiscal regime for our energy sector is not written in stone. It is something which has to be updated regularly. And that is because the external environment in which we operate changes almost annually or every couple of months. So the sector is waiting to know what the new fiscal regime would look like. There's also a lot of uncertainty around price and contract. And in that environment of uncertainty, people will obviously hold back. So the small, and I keep making the case for the small lease operator farm-out companies in South Trinidad, they would like relief on supplemental petroleum tax. They've been asking for that for almost 15 or 18 months.
But just before we get back to those small lease operators, and looking at the fact that you're talking about different contexts and being able to have to change, you spoke about Russia, and looking at the difference in scale, size, economy, they have based their budget on a price of $40 per barrel for 3 years. What would you have say? What would you say would have been a little more possibly prudent for us to base ours around?
I would have gone with about something in the low 40s. I would have gone with the low 40s, and with gas I would have gone with $2 instead of $2.25. What is happening? The world is changing every day, and 2 months ago, the so-called experts and the consultancies and the Goldman Sachs and so on of the world were saying to us that global demand was now about to get past global supply. All of a sudden, we hear global supply is back up again. So the world is actually oversupplied by oil to the tune of 1 million barrels of oil per day. So every day, the world produces 97 million barrels of oil, but the world consumes 96. What's happening to the one? It's being stored. So inventories are building up. So even when the market rebalances and 96 equal 96, supply equal demand, you still have an overhang of inventory that people believe will take about 500 days to unwind. So first of all, you're waiting for the market to rebalance, and secondly, you're waiting for that inventory to unwind. You're looking at about 2 to 3 years of this low price environment.
Okay, but speaking of that supply and demand, what do you think the changes to the gas subsidy will do to supply and demand at the pump?
Well, this is a big issue, and I'm glad you raised this issue because it was raised with me first thing this morning. We have 800,000 vehicles in this country, and we have a population of 1.3 million. It means that almost everybody over the age of 17 is a ratio of 1 car to 1 person for the population over the age of 17. The minister has clearly is going to remove the subsidy. He's increased super 2 times. He's increased diesel now on 3 occasions. The diesel has gone from 150 to 230. Super has gone from, I think it was 280 last year, September, to where it is now about 340 something. And premium stays at 575. Let's first deal with premium. Premium is overpriced. The 575 price is a price that I actually approved in 2012. At that time, oil prices was about $110 a barrel. So you could have justified 575. As oil prices have come down to $47, $48 a barrel, the price of premium should also come down. So I estimate that the real price of premium to be about $3.75, $3.80, let's say $3.80. So when you put premium in your vehicle, you're actually paying a tax. Now, it affects a small percentage of the population. Of all the fuel consumed, premium is about 3%. So that's premium. Let's look now at super. Super is the most used fuel in Trinidad and Tobago. So about 51% of the fuel consumed is super. So the price of super is more than likely equivalent to what the market price should be. So there's no need to interfere with super at this point in time. So there's no subsidy on super. There remains about an 80 cents subsidy on diesel. So we pay $2.30 at the pump right now. The real price should be about $3.10. The minister said $3. I said $3.10. I wouldn't fight him over 10 cents. So the subsidy, which was running at $4.5 billion on average 2 or 3 years ago, has now come down to less than $1 billion. So the government has removed some of that burden from its back. If the price of oil were to go back up, the subsidy, of course, the government will have to pay more subsidy to subsidize the oil. The only way to fully remove the subsidy is to repeal or to amend the relevant sections of the Petroleum Production Levy and Subsidy Act, which he has not done. So let's now look at what's happening with the population. Diesel affects everything. Diesel is the transportation fuel for all goods and services. Kiss van, Carib truck, every major vehicle, vehicles transporting aggregate, gravel and so on, they all use diesel. We've now had a 53% increase in diesel in the last 13 months. The first 2 increases in diesel, we did not see a commensurate increase. We didn't see the inflationary impact that we thought we would have seen. Now we are hearing more noise from the Maxi Taxi Association and the taxi drivers that use diesel.
Mr. Ramnarine, in terms of, we were talking about energy prices and what the subsidy does and the implications for life in Trinidad and Tobago. So you were just speaking about the Maxi Taxi Association, so please continue.
Right, so fuel prices are increasing. It's becoming more expensive to fill up your tank. And that will have a knock-on effect everywhere. On the other hand, there are alternatives. And there are 3 alternatives. The first one is CNG, which has been with us since 1984. Patrick Manning, as Minister of Petroleum and Mines, God rest his soul, he introduced CNG. It's taken a long while to take off. So in 2013, we decided that we had to have a special vehicle, no pun intended. We created a company called the NGC CNG. We said the NGC has the expertise in natural gas, they have the money, and they should be the catalyst to kick off the CNG initiative. It has taken off. We now have, you're seeing more, I'm sure you're seeing more CNG vehicles on the road in the form of the Honda City, which is, I understand, selling very well, the Honda City. No advertisement here this morning for Honda. We have other car companies looking for right-hand drive brand new CNG vehicles. So CNG is taking off. Sale of CNG itself, the fuel is increasing. Sale of CNG vehicles increasing. While all other new car sales down, CNG vehicles increasing. So that's a good sign for the country. New CNG stations, St. Christopher's on Ryson Road, Ramco on the Church Roosevelt Highway, Brentwood in Chaguanas, Peaks in Tacarigua, those are new. And PTSC has its own CNG fleet, about 40 buses, and they have their own dedicated CNG station. So things are happening with CNG.
But 2 points though, would you call it fuel prices rising, or would they, or would you consider it a reversion to what the reality is, the global reality?
Well, I think all human behavior is driven by economics, right? Or the majority of human behavior is driven by economic considerations. Now, if it is your liquid fuel is too cheap, your diesel, $1.50, which is where it was, that is not going to incentivize people to convert to CNG. Let's face that reality. Who was going to give up the trunk in their lovely vehicle to save a couple cents? But now, with diesel going up to $2.30, the pain with regard to diesel, with regard to super, has increased. So more people are thinking about CNG. Now, you could fill your CNG vehicle up for about $18. I filled up a CNG vehicle once myself. And after I filled the vehicle, I looked at the attendant and said, listen, that is $18. I mean, in KFC, I think a 2-piece and fries is about $30-something, right? So it's taking off. The maxi taxi is critical. The maxi taxi drivers are critical to this success. So they have agreed that they signed an MOU last year with myself, that they have agreed that they will trade in their maxi taxis, their diesel maxi taxis, which will be crushed. And, because they want to get rid of diesel. And the NGC CNG company is going to give them a grant, which will assist them to buy a brand new CNG maxi.
You think we're able to do that now?
Two maxis have already done it. I saw it in the news. So CNG is taking off. And it's getting the push it needs, and it's getting the pull it needs. The push, of course, is the increase in the liquid fuel price. The other two options, I said there were three. Hybrids. Hybrids are here. They are here. There are foreign use hybrids on the road. The government allowed the foreign use dealers to bring in hybrid vehicles to use. I believe it was 3 or 4 years old. There are also new hybrids coming in. All the car companies are looking for hybrids, right-hand drive hybrids. There's no motor vehicle tax on a hybrid. There's no VAT, and there's no customs duty on a hybrid. It means, therefore, that if you, DK, decide that you want to buy a hybrid, you will effectively be treated like a member of parliament, because members of parliament don't have to pay all those taxes to buy a new vehicle. So that the message to the population is that have a look at what the new car dealers are doing and the foreign use dealers are doing with regard to hybrid vehicles, because you may well end up paying a lot less for a new vehicle if you buy a hybrid.
It begs the question though, if you have a car that is running on gasoline, but you're seeing, like you say, the pain at the pump is making you think very strongly about converting your vehicle to be a hybrid.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I'm not sure if you're able to answer, but one issue definitely many people would think about is, okay, my vehicle is still under warranty. Does the fact that I'm switching or converting it to a hybrid, does that impact on the warranty?
Well, if you have a new vehicle, many car companies, and this is just one of the obstacles, many car companies will void your warranty if you convert your vehicle to CNG. Now, let's say you have a vehicle which is outside of the warranty period, and you convert to CNG, well then, of course, there's no loss. So if I have, let's say, a 5-year-old vehicle, and I live in San Fernando, and I work in Port of Spain, it makes perfect sense to convert to CNG. Now, there are licensed converters in Trinidad and Tobago. One of them is Automotive Components Limited, which is a branch of Nila Massey, of Massey. And there are other companies which are in the process of setting up their conversion centers. So that conversion centers are here, new CNG vehicles are coming in. The NGC has a fleet of almost 200 CNG vehicles. A lot of people don't know that.